Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. This is Marjorie and thank you for stopping by Jetersblessings. Today I'm participating in a Fall into Autumn challenge that's hosted by Jackie from Mamma Mia DIY and co-hosted by Kate from SoKate. And if you will, just go to the description box to head on over to the playlist and see what everybody else has created. So for my first DIY, I am starting off with this round metal sign. I think it's about 8 to 10 inches. And I am just attaching some of these cable tie holders, and I'm attaching, it's already sticky, it's pretty sticky, but I add on some super glue just to make sure, and then I do seal it all in with some Gorilla Hot glue. And this will definitely ensure a long-lasting hold. And as I put that aside to dry, I take my wreath frame, and here I'm showing you the different sections. In the two inner rings, I'll place one pipe cleaner, and on the two outer rings, I'll place two pipe cleaners in each section. So one section has 3 pipe cleaners. There's a total of 6 sections, so you have a total of 18 pipe cleaners. So my method of choice is going to be 2 rolls of the 10-inch Deco Mesh, and I'm cutting each piece at 40 inches long, and I'm actually using a fabric Deco Mesh. It's a little bit different, the texture is different. I really like using it a lot, and here I'm just showing you a quick cruffle method. Now, I just roll both ends up about 3 or 4 times, and then I scrunch it up in the middle. The ends give you the curl, and then the middle gives you the ruffle. So the good thing about this technique is it also hides the edges where you cut the Deco Mesh. It makes everything look nice and neat. You don't have any stragglers as far as the Deco Mesh pieces. But here I'm going to show you again just by using a clothespin and holding it down with my Powerade bottle, and then just running my fingers up to make the completed cruffle. So with these being 40 inches, you don't have to do a 40 inch. The only reason I do is, well, first, here's what it looks like with just 3 ruffles. Here's what it looks like with 6 sets of ruffles. And then here's the entire wreath frame covered with all the Deco Mesh. But I use the 40 inches because I don't want to have any rolls of small rolls of Deco Mesh. I really don't like to do that, so I just do that to ensure that I use the total amount of both 10-inch Deco Mesh at 10 yards each. So it's a total of 30 feet. So here, and sorry I'm off camera a little bit, but I take my 2 ribbons, and aren't these stinking cute? It's the little gnomes and cheetah print, and I thought it definitely, the colors went well with the sign, and I just love the gnome, so I couldn't help but to get some gnome ribbon to throw in there. But all I do is crisscross my ribbons, and then I fold it in half, pinch the middle, and then I folded it in half, and then actually just inserted it on top of the pipe cleaner. So here I added my 2 pieces of pipe cleaner to hang my sign on, and as you see, there's 2 sections that I didn't put any ribbon on, and that's because I'm gonna make a bow, and the bow is gonna actually cover those 2 sections, so we don't have to worry about wasting ribbon. Now I do put the ribbon underneath my sign just because I've tried doing it before without the ribbon underneath the sign, and it still kind of left like some blank spots that I didn't like. And so that's the reason I put it underneath the sign still. It still kind of covers up a little bit. And as you'll see, there's little pieces of the ribbon poking out through the signs. So here I'm about to get my bow maker, and I'm gonna make a bow. And I've got another little 1.5 inch ribbon. It has little pieces of the cheetah print in it as well, along with the teal and the orange color. I think it's absolutely beautiful. Now, the bow maker doesn't normally, well, when I see other people use it, it doesn't move so much. But when I use it, it moves a kind of a lot. On my table, it's one of those folding tables. So when you unfold it, there's kind of a little bump in the middle still. It's not a complete flat surface. So I always work in the middle of my table, and that just makes it move so much. So if you don't have a bow maker, comes in really handy. It's real easy to use, especially if you have problems with your hands. I absolutely love this thing. I got mine from Deco Exchange. I think they're around $20, but I mean, there's different places. I'm sure you could buy it on Amazon or something like that. Or you could actually, if you want to, you can truly make your own. I thought about making my own before I purchased this, but I caught it on sale one time at Deco Exchange, and I ended up paying, I think, $15 for it. So I was like, I'll just pay the $15 instead of, going through all the trouble of making one. Although it wouldn't be too much of a trouble, but I just thought it would look better for at least video purposes and stuff. So here I am just alternating my ribbons. I'm doing 14-inch long tails that are going downwards towards me, and the tails that are going upwards are 8 inches. My loops started off at 6 inches, and then I slowly went lower to, I want to say 5.5. And I think I can't remember how many sets I did. So at least 5.5, maybe down to 5 inches. But if you're wondering, I got this ribbon and the Deco Mesh from Craft Outlet. If you guys know, if you've ever watched me making wreaths before, you know that I love Craft Outlet. They're always running some kind of sale, having stuff off, 10%, 20%, 30% off. And so a lot of the products that I purchase are on sale. And their sales, I don't really know the time frame of the sales. I mean, they always have something on sale, but I don't know how long it is that they last. Sometimes they can have the same product up and it'll be 20% off one day, and the next day it could be 30% off. So just check them out. I'm not affiliated with them or anything, but anybody, who loves to make wreaths or are looking to make wreaths, I just want you guys to be able to get the best product at affordable prices, so I know how pricey crafting and especially wreath making can be. So I just want to share that with you guys. Oh, and you do get certain amounts of points back. Spend so much money and you get certain points, and you can end up using those points and take off money from your next order and stuff. So really great. You ought to go check it out on craftoutlet.com. But now I finished my bow, and so I'm just attaching it, and as you see, it covers up the 2 sections that didn't have the ribbon tails very well. And here I'm just fluffing my bows, and I will be dovetailing the 2.5 inch ribbon, and then with the 1.5 inch ribbon I'll just be cutting it at an angle. But I absolutely love the cheetah print, the teal. I love all the colors and how it came together. I think it's such a cute wreath. It really came out like I was hoping it would. So here is a pumpkin grapevine wreath form, also from Craft Outlet. And the good thing about these is you don't have to do too much. Those two 1.5-inch ribbons were from Craft Outlet. I got these florals from the Dollar Tree. And so basically what I'm doing is I just cut a bunch of the different florals up and I'm gathering them together. I already have one bunch gathered that I did off screen and attached it to the wreath frame, and here I'm just doing the second portion of it. So I kind of figure out where I want everything to lay, and then I'm just going to take a little like 8-inch zip tie and kind of zip tie everything together. And then I'll zip tie it to the frame of the wreath. It zip ties very nicely because there's little gaps between the fabric and the grapevine wreath. Not like big gaps, but they're gaps enough to where you could put the zip ties through and you won't have to worry about damaging either the fabric or the wreath frame itself. So here I'm just playing with it, trying to get everything in the best place that I see that I like, and then again I'll just zip tie it, but I use like one of the longer zip ties and I zip tie it on there. You got to be careful. I do bend the picks some to get them to stand up, so make sure you don't attach it to the frame with the zip tie close to the bend area, because you'll see I actually popped it off. And but I had to put another one on, but I just put it down a little bit further. But yeah, kind of like fluffing a bow, you got to kind of work with your floral picks and stuff, and I guess in essence kind of fluff them out too, make sure they're standing up nice and perky. And here I go in with my bow maker, and I make a bow with the two 1-inch bows. 1-inch ribbons, excuse me. Now, what you can do is you can actually make a bow first and put the bow on and then put the florals on, or you could do it like I did. It really doesn't matter. Sometimes I like to do a bow first when I'm using a grapevine wreath, because like I just did all grapevine wreath. And that's because I've found that if I make my bow last, I tend to make my bows a little bit big and fluffy, so it doesn't look right. But if I make the bow first and put it on there, then I can arrange the flowers and stuff around the bow, and it looks a lot better. I think it looks better. I don't have the issues with it if I put the bow on there first, but everybody's different. So I'm just alternating the ribbons that I put on here and just doing, you know, a few loops at a time with a couple of tails. And you could do that just really depending on, you know, how many tails you like. Most of the time I do like a lot of little tails, because you can get the curves, and the curves in the tail makes it look so nice and pretty. But other times, like if I'm doing a grapevine wreath, just all grapevine wreath, then I normally just like do one set of tails. But here, I guess I didn't really have to put the zip tie in, but I put the zip tie in to attach it. I thought it would be better than doing the pipe cleaners, but I'm sure you could actually use the pipe cleaners to attach the bow as well. But again, you know, with this being such a lightweight wreath, I just wanted to make sure that everything, if you hung it on your door outside, was going to stay pretty firm, and you not have to worry about any, you know, if like you live somewhere where it's really windy, you don't have to worry about anything flying off. So to me, zip ties work a lot better. And this is the final outcome. I really like these types of wreaths, and you can just add a little bit of flair to them yourself, and you can spruce them up any kind of way. So for our third wreath, this is a tree from the Dollar. It's not a tree from the Dollar Tree. I'm sorry. It is a sign from the Dollar Tree, and I live in Texas, so we're Cowboys fans. I have this grapevine wreath from Walmart, and these florals. I got 2 of these florals from Walmart, I think last fall. I got them on clearance. But here I've just attached the little cable ties and the pipe cleaners the same way that I did with the first wreath, and I'm actually feeding the pipe cleaners through the grapevine. So I prefer to feed them through the grapevine versus having it go completely around the edges of the wreath. This way it can get caught into some twigs that are intertwined, and it keeps it from moving as much. I do go in and add a third cable tie and pipe cleaner to give it a little more, to make it a little more sturdy. So here I do start with flower, and then I'm like, gotta make my bow. So here's my little Dallas Cowboy ribbon. I did get this from Craft Outlets. They've got a lot of other football wreaths, so if you are interested in making a football wreath, they've got ribbons of all different colors for a lot of different teams. They have, you know, like little football ribbons. I mean, it's just all kinds of stuff. You could just have so much fun with it. In here, I'm using just one ribbon. So, like I said, I just do the one set of tails, and I just make, I want to say 8 to 10 loops just to make sure that it's fluffy. And I made them, I believe, at 5-inch loops. So here I'm just twisting on my pipe cleaner, and I was like, oh, I forgot my zip tie again, so I undid it, and then I was like, realized I don't need a zip tie, so I take it out. I made all of these wreaths in one day, one right after another, so my mind was kind of just going all over the place, so I apologize. Struggling a little bit, as you do sometimes with grapevine wreaths, getting the pipe cleaners to go in. And, yeah, just fluffing out my loops. And I always do a dovetail on the 2.5 size ribbon. Makes it look really nice. You could definitely use multiple ribbons to make your bow if you wanted to. But I didn't want to, I kind of wanted to just use the star ribbon to kind of match the sign and stuff to make it look really cute. So then I just take these beautiful florals and I just fill up the wreath on both sides, and I'll actually let you watch that for a little bit in silence. Okay, so I lied. I'm not going to let you watch all of it in silence. um, so you see me there. I actually leave the stems pretty long. And the reason I do that is because I don't like to use hot glue on these types of wreaths. And if I leave the stems long enough, it is intertwined with the rest of the wreath and it catches on really well, so you don't have to worry about any of the florals coming out. I've actually had to move some around before, and sometimes it's even a little bit difficult for me to take the stem out to move it to a different place. So trust me, it's tried and true for me. But a couple of reasons I don't, really the main reason I don't use the hot glue is because whether somebody purchases wreath from me and maybe they don't like the contents on it anymore, they could either take everything off and use the Grapevine Wreath itself or give it to somebody who could reuse the Grapevine Wreath. And then if it doesn't sell, then I myself could actually take it apart and redo something else on it. That way, you know, I don't have to worry about the ugly glue and stuff like that. Plus, I really don't like all the little strings of glue everywhere. I mean, yeah, I do get them off, but you might miss something here or there, and I really don't like working with the hot glue and florals too much. Plus, I always manage to burn myself somehow. No matter how much I try to not burn myself and be careful, it always happens. But you'll see like 2 of these floral arrangements from Walmart really filled this wreath up really nice. And I think the original price on these were actually like $5.97. It may be a little bit more now because, you know, prices have gone up on everything. But I haven't been to Walmart to look at them lately. But as you see me, I do. There's some little stems that are actually missing something. There was like a flower or something that must have fell off. And I'm going to actually use that too. So I put a little dab of hot glue on the end, the tip of it. That way I could still use the leaves as filler, but with the hot glue at the end is going to keep the leaves from falling off. So just a little tip for you guys. And yeah, this is another reason because I don't like to use the hot glue, because I think something looks good somewhere and then I start adding more in and then I end up having to move it. That's just how it is for me. I wish I could be one of those wreath makers, because there's some wreath makers that do a lot of the Grapevine wreaths and they just slap stuff in there and it's like they don't ever rearrange it. They just go with the flow. I'm always rearranging something and I don't know why. I just can't go with it or get it right the first time like these other brilliant wreath makers are. But is this not the cutest? Oh my goodness. I love it. Very full. It turned out beautiful. I love the colors for fall. Okay, so my last wreath for the day. I'm taking this 21-inch Deco Mesh. I got it from the Dollar Tree a couple years ago. It is actually $1. I have not seen them since then. But anyways, this is not your normal 10-yard, 30 feet. I want to say this was either 15 or 20 yards, and so I had to be really careful and on how I utilized it. So for my outer rings, I normally do 10-inch poofs, but I did 9.5-inch poofs. And then when I moved on into the inner rings, I went down to 9-inch poofs, and that worked perfectly. Like, I don't even think I cut the end off. So when I first attach it to the wreath frame with the zip tie, you see that I cut it off, but when I get to the end, I didn't have to cut anything off. I just stuffed it into one of those poofs. So here I have some 10-inch Deco Mesh. This is also a fabric Deco Mesh from Craft Outlet. I really love this. I don't know if you guys have ever worked with Deco Mesh. You kind of know there's the different feels, but I just really love the fabric because it's nice and soft and easy to work with. I did notice on this one, because I actually tried to do this wreath with 2 rolls of this 10-inch mesh, but the first one, I don't know what was wrong with the first roll. Like, it kept catching on itself, and it was horrible. I had to end up throwing the roll away. I don't know if it was just because I cut them at 40-inch pieces that was making it catch on itself so much, but when I would try to pull it apart, it was all these snags and everything was horrible. So I went back and I just cut them at 20-inch. That way I could use up the whole row, and that worked out perfectly. I didn't have the same issue. Now again, I got these cute little ribbons, a scarecrow ribbon, and I got the stitched patchwork because I thought it was so cute to match the scarecrow's little patchwork in his overalls, and it had the little white stitching on it, so I just thought it was so adorable. Plus the blue and the maroon colors in it. I really like if I'm gonna do colors and vibrant colors or whatever, I really like the blues and going into the fall. But I myself, for my home, I like the more neutral colors, so like the blacks, the whites, creams, and then the sage green. So I really like those colors, I mean, pretty much year round. But so I'm about to make 2 bows. So I'm actually going to make 2 bows on this, unlike the first Deco Mesh wreath. So what I'm doing is I'm spooling the rest of the ribbon that's on these 2.5-inch spools to make sure I have enough ribbon to make the same bow. I don't want to have one bow not as full as the other one, which turned out pretty good because I was actually spooling it off allowed me to arrange the scarecrow to where he's actually facing correctly up and down. He's not upside down or anything. And so the reason I undid the bow was because I originally did 8-inch tail and found out that the last tail was pretty short, and so I just made each tail 6 inches, so it worked out perfectly. And then I just did I think total of 4 loops, 2 on each side. And then here I'm like, oh well, maybe I'll be smart and cut the dovetails first instead of doing it last. But again, I do 4 loops on each side, and then for the stitch, this stitched, I can't speak, excuse me, ribbon, I seem to have more on that ribbon than I did the others, and that's how it is sometimes though. But I just love it. Is that not the cutest? So I take some of this extra 1.5-inch ribbon that I used with the Grapevine pumpkin wreath, and I just go ahead and add that right to the right to the top of the bow, just to give it a little more, I don't want to say color because it's pretty much the same color, but a little more design, character, or whatever. And I do make a little loop in the middle for the center bow. And again, I'm just cutting the tails at an angle because I always do with my 1.5 inch. And I'm going to tie it up pretty tight with my pipe cleaner. And just fluff it out and make it nice and pretty. I'm not going to show you both of the ribbons, but both of the bows, excuse me. Because like I said, it's the same bow basically. I just made 2 of them, and I go ahead and attach them right onto the wreath frame. But that's so cute. I just love it. So again, I have the 2 slots that are that don't have any ribbon tails, and that's where the 2 bows are going to go. So here's my cute little sign. I saw the sign first and was able to luckily find some scarecrow ribbon. Again, all of this came from Craft Outlet. And I was able to find the sign first and then the scarecrow ribbon to match it. So it's so cute. But then I just attach my bows on it. Make sure that you don't put your bows and your signs on too tight that it's pulling everything down. You want it tight enough, but to where everything looks like they're sitting on top of the Deco Mesh, not pulled into the Deco Mesh. I just love bows. They're my favorite part of a wreath. I think I'm a little ribbon obsessed. So here I've got this corn husk that I got from the Hobby Lobby, and I got it 40% off. And I thought what I would do is just use it like the little, oh my gosh, I can't think of it, the straw that the scarecrow is made of, and I just kind of attached it to the entire wreath all around, added it to the bow, and it turns out super cute. So here's the finished project. Again, thank you all for stopping by. I appreciate every single one of you. Check out the description box for the playlist, and you guys have a wonderful, blessed day.